Hey, good morning, Facebook Fetch Pet Care. I am Ellen, your resident dog trainer, Ellen the dog trainer, and I am in Denver today. We've been out traveling in our motorhome with Skittles and having a great time seeing the west coast or the west side of the country. And today in Denver, we are celebrating National Mutt Day, and I am here at the Dumb Friends League of Denver, one of the oldest established humane societies here in Denver. And with me is Maya and Joan, and we have two very special mutts with us today. We have Max here, Max, and Winnie, right?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Say hi, Winnie. Show how cute you are. Look at your tail.
And Max and Winnie are just two of the dogs that are available here for adoption at Dumb Friends League. And Maya, tell us a little bit more about this organization. I mean, you were established in 1910, is that right?
Right, yeah, and we take care of about a little more than 21,000 animals every year.
21,000 animals.
That
wow.
includes dogs, cats, horses, guinea pigs. We have a very large array of animals. We're an open admission shelter, so we will say yes to every animal that comes through the door, even if we don't necessarily adopt it. We saw a rooster here not that long ago. He was great. Yep. Wow. But we wouldn't be adopting out the rooster. We'd work with a transfer partner who would then take the rooster and make sure that he finds a good home.
And what is a transfer partner? I know we have county shelters, there's humane societies, there's rescues, and they're all a little bit different. Joan, why don't you tell us a little bit how each one is unique and how you work together?
Sure. So we are the largest community-based animal welfare organization in the state, and we work with other local organizations and other national organizations to really combine our forces, so to work together to help homeless pets. We transfer dogs primarily into the shelter. Colorado is so dog friendly. We love dogs here.
Yes, you are.
We have a beautiful backyard. We can go for hikes, lots of great parks. And we work with our other shelter partners here in the state and then nationally as well to bring dogs in that maybe wouldn't be able to find a home elsewhere.
I think across the country annually there's I think the statistic is 3.3 million dogs that are brought or entered into the shelter system. And I think about I don't remember the statistic, I might have to look for it and I'll post it afterwards, the number that actually get returned back to the owners. I want to say it's about 710,000 go back to the owners. So organizations such as yours are really, really important for our dogs, for our mutts, for our pure breeds, whatever kind of species that comes in here for adoption. It's important to have you guys here. And many of the organizations like Dumb Friends League now, they offer services. It's not just an intake. They have a behavior department. You guys have had a behavior department since the 70s, is that right? Mm-hmm. Which I think is one of the first in the country.
I believe so.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, looking at the issue of pet overpopulation, we were fortunate enough that our leaders at the time were able to look forward and try to say, what can we do to do something about it on the front side? How can we prevent animals from ending up in animal shelters? And one of the things was to have a behavior department. That way you can address potential issues that might make them be coming back to you. So that was one of the reasons behind that. In fact, our behavior department went and taught other organizations how to have a behavior department.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
How do you get in?
We're not open yet. We open at 11.
This is live TV.
Yeah, and we're on live right now.
I mean, it's an hour and...
Yeah, you're just a little early, but we're glad you're here. What are you looking for today? Are you looking to adopt a dog or a cat?
Dog.
A dog. And any particular type of dog you're
A
looking for?
Rottweiler.
A Rottweiler. And what is it about the Rottweiler breed that you're interested in?
I've bred the best Rottweiler that's ever existed. I'm a breeder. I haven't bred since 2005, but in 2004 I took his genetic material and placed it in Entry and with Global Genetics both.
Okay.
Because I realized that the reason people breed Rottweilers and other breeds seriously is the aim at perfection, an elusive goal that is almost never achieved, but it's an ongoing project.
What's your name?
My name is Warren Cooper.
Warren brings up a really good point, and that is about the genetic disposition of our dogs. So Warren, today is actually National Mutt Day. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not.
Yeah, so when we are celebrating National Mutt Day, it's really celebrating most of the dogs that are out there, certainly a great number that are here at the shelters. And in fact, do you guys still label breeds? You know, do you try to guess what breed the dog is and label the dog as a breed, or are you kind of transferring over to celebrating the great American shelter dog?
We do still label breeds here.
You do?
Yeah.
And it really seems to matter to a lot of folks when they come in to adopt a dog. Like you were coming in, you're looking for a Rottweiler. But what's really important to know about our dogs that are available out there now for adoption is that unless you are working with a breeder who's kept a closed DNA pool where Warren knows exactly what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you're not necessarily going to get a purebred. Now, these guys look like dachshunds. Do we know if they are?
We don't have papers, so we don't know for sure. They sure look like doxies, but you never know.
A remarkable thing happened with my dog Elgar.
I would love to hear about that. We've got a short...
He was at... If enough dogs are cloned like Elgar,
Yep.
he is the perfection.
He's the breed, okay.
I mean, the idea of continuing to breed to achieve the perfection is a good goal, but once it's achieved, if you happen to have it cloned, there's no reason to breed Rottweilers anymore because he's it.
Well, I tell you, we want to be careful about using the word clone, but when dogs,
I feel like I've waited so long, I feel like Jonah in the belly of the whale.
Okay.
Because I've waited 10 years to do this.
Thank you for
It takes
sharing
a lot
your
of
story
money.
with me.
I'm
I
sorry, am I
appreciate
going to
it
be
so
on
much.
TV or something?
You are on live right now,
Facebook right
sir.
now,
So
live.
thank you so much for sharing your story.
I didn't put makeup on or anything.
Next time, comb your hair, okay?
Well, you are very proud of your Rottweiler, and the Rottweiler falls into the herding breed.
It's a duty.
Excuse me.
Goldie Hawn and Aspen, I hear, is looking for a Rottweiler.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness!
it
Wow,
costs
wow.
$50,000
Goldie
to do
Hawn,
the
you should
cloning.
come down here.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
well, thank you so much, sir. We're going to move
she
on
might
over
help
here
me
to
do
the
it.
Adoption
Thank you,
Center.
Warren.
And thanks again.
Come on, Winnie. Come on, sweetie.
Well, it's wonderful that places like Dumb Friends League is open to the public, where they can come in and take a look at the animals that are up for adoption, be it a rooster or a horse, or Max and Winnie, who are available for adoption today. They are a bonded pair, meaning you guys would love for them to go to the same home.
Yes.
Yeah.
They came in together, and they are bonded with each other, and we'd like to see them go home together to their new forever home.
All right, we have a question.
What is the adoption process like here?
What's the adoption process like here? Great question.
So we invite you to visit our website, ddfl.org, and you can view our adoptable pets online there. Also, come down to the shelter, walk through our adoption kennels, and really get to know the pets here. You'll sit through an adoption council while you work with somebody who will make sure it's a good fit for you and for the pet. And we handle everything here. So we do spay and neuter before adoption, all the vaccinations, including rabies, microchip ID, and a free veterinary visit with a participating veterinarian is included as well.
And what Joan just mentioned is that it is important to make sure that you are a good match with your pet. So some folks look to the breeds like, oh, I've always had Rottweilers, or I've always had Golden Retrievers, or I've always had Dachshunds. But I would encourage you to keep in mind that the likelihood of the dog actually being a purebred and having that DNA, that genome to reflect the purebred is highly unlikely. So really think about just the personality of the dog in front of you. Is the dog making eye contact with you? Is it soft body language? Is it comfortable with you as you move about? What is your lifestyle like? Do you need a dog that falls into that herding breed category, or are you partial to the Asian category and the temperaments and the dispositions of that particular breed group? So instead of looking at, a Jack Russell Terrier per se, take a look at the Sight Hound group if you're really keen on breeds. But it's really most important is just the dog that's in front of you. Are you connecting with that dog in front of you? And what is your lifestyle? Does it make sense for you to have that dog in your lifestyle? Are you active or are you not so active? Do you like to go out hiking, or are you more of the type that would like to have a dog on your lap while you're, you know, sipping a cup of coffee outside at one of your local shops. It's really important to just take a look at the behavior, because less than 1% of the DNA mix is attributed to the physical traits of a dog. The 2,000 genes that are swimming about in this DNA pool, less than 1% determines the physical traits, and so that's really important to keep in mind. It may look like that breed, but it will not necessarily, he or she will not necessarily have the traits, the characteristics of that breed. So that's why it's so cool to just take a look at the dog, you know, for who he or she is, and kind of set that breed aside. The Great American Shelter Dog is how we always answer our question about when people see Skittles, and you've seen Skittles on Facebook Live with me before, and we believe that he might be Jack Russell Terrier and Cattle Dog mix. If we really wanted to know, there are a number of services out there now where you can have your dog's DNA determined or tested, and to find out what the breed characteristics might be. But again, let's say he might be Jack Russell Terrier and Cattle Dog, but what part of the Jack Russell and Cattle Dog does he have? Does he just have the spots of the Cattle Dog and the personality, or more of the breed characteristics of the Jack Russell Terrier, or does it really matter? Doesn't really matter. So when folks say, well, what kind of dog is Skittles? He is a Great American Shelter Dog, and we'd love to see actually that become more of the label of our dogs that are in awesome locations like Dumb Friends League. There's actually been a project out there recently where a scientist spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and money and resources to see if folks could actually determine what the breed of the dog was by looking at a picture of the dog. And she proved the point that that's nearly impossible. So keep that in mind on our National Mutt Day as you go out there and visit great locations like Dumb Friends League. Yeah, we have
one of the questions you basically answer says, what should I know about mixed breed dogs versus pure breed dogs, which you covered. The other one is, how many dogs are here at the shelter?
How many right now? I don't know the exact number right now. It changes daily, hourly, yeah. So I don't have that number. I can get that for you and let you guys post that up on Facebook later on. That'd
be great information
sure.
to know. Yeah, there's about 3.3 million dogs that enter shelters around the country. I think there's about 5,000 different types of shelters. Now, that, like we talked about, there are humane societies, there are county shelters, and there are rescues. So we learned a little bit more about the Humane Society, which is kind of like a real full-service location to find your animal. The county shelter, those are the folks at animal control that go around and will pick up a lost dog or a lost cat or any animal that's out there and is lost or in trouble or hurt or injured. They also handle some court cases, so it's more of the legal side of things. And then rescues are folks who will often pull from shelters or pull from a humane society, and the dogs will come and live in a person's home or a foster mom, and they'll go through a real strict screening process for their adoption candidates. Would you guys agree with that? Is that what you see here in Denver?
Yeah, that's a good.
I've experienced it myself.
And you've experienced it yourself, yeah.
Can I chime in again?
How about...
Just briefly.
Sure.
It dovetails with what you're talking about in a shelter. The responsibility of a good breeder, only half of it is coming up with a good puppy or a good dog to put in somebody's home. The other half is selecting the home.
Sure.
Because if you select the home right, they'll never wind up in a shelter.
That's right.
That's all I had to say. I thought it was important.
It's very important. In fact, there are 44% of the homes here in the United States have dogs. So it's important, if you're going to take a dog into your home, that your home, you and your lifestyle and your home, your family, your kids, your relatives, your visitors, everybody's set up to welcome that dog and to ensure that that dog has a really great life with you. Do we have any other questions, Tony?
They just, Erica posted about your stats.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you, Erica. We appreciate you doing that. Erica with Fetch Pet Care.
So what are some of your tips for bringing home a newly adopted dog?
tips for bringing home a newly adopted dog. Ladies, I know you guys are experts on that.
Well, one thing that we always ask is if you already have a dog at home, that you bring the dog in to meet whatever dog you're planning to adopt. That's very important because we want to make sure that they're going to have a good initial first meeting, and that they're going to get along and they're going to have a happy life together. So that's number one. Make sure if you already have a dog in your home that you bring the dog in to have a nice meet and greet with your potential new dog.
Right.
Yeah, and then just give your dog time once you are home. They might be a little bit fearful. They may just need some time to adjust to the new environment. So give them some time, give them some space, you know, really make it accommodating to them, and then just, you know, be prepared, you know, with any, you know, possible behaviors you might see, and helping them transition from the shelter environment to the home environment.
Absolutely. And when you decide that it's time to adopt a dog, check with that particular organization, like Dumb Friends League, who has a behavior department. Best Friends sometimes will have some help with, you know, contracting out trainers, or budget. Budget for your dog. Budget for high quality food, high quality treats. You know, a good harness, or you know, nice leash, quality bedding. Make sure that you are budgeting not only just your time and your lifestyle, but also your financial resources, because if you do come into a problem, you want to make sure you reach out to a professional trainer. You guys know I am a certified professional dog trainer and a certified behavior adjustment training instructor. It's really important that you are working with a trainer who falls into one of those categories or another certification process. We've talked always about positive reinforcement training. It's so very important, especially when your dog comes into your home, that all of those experiences, those new experiences, are positive ones, that there are positive associations. And we've done Facebook Lives on canine body language, so make sure you go back and review that, or Google canine body language, so you remember about stress yawns and whale eyes and blinks and head turns and all of that canine body language that you're going to see your dog display when he or she comes into your home. You may actually, you'll see it in the shelter. I mean, dogs are constantly displaying behavior, right? They're telling us what they're thinking by how their body is you know, reacting. So my guess is that Winnie, right?
Yes.
Winnie would probably like to keep on going. I mean, look at her stance.
She's ready.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of lip licks. Remember, we've talked about
tail.
lip licks. Yeah, we've got a tail that's wagging. Remember, a wagging tail means engagement. It doesn't always necessarily mean happy.
If it's wagging real fast, it means it's not a good situation.
That's right. Warren knows his canine body language. Whereas, you know, Max back here, he's very happy. He's getting lots of love from Maya, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good to continue to hang out here. So remember your canine body language always, but most certainly when you are in the adoption facility and when you've decided to bring your dog home, once he or she is in your home.
Tying in with that, so can pets have negative life experiences psychologically and resolve those issues better than humans can?
Woo, that's a big question.
That's a big question too. Yeah.
That is a big question. Well, let me try and answer that as best I can within this context and within this forum, okay? But I would say if you have a dog that's got some behavior issues, get with a certified professional dog trainer to really address those. But we know that dogs, when they are born, the puppy imprint stage is certainly a good solid 12 to 14 weeks. Some people say maybe, you know, as little late as 16 weeks, but certainly that 12 to 14 weeks, it's really important what happens to that puppy, because it can imprint on that puppy. And if the puppy has a lot of stress in utero with the mom, if it has a very stressful, you know, first few weeks of life, then that can have a lasting effect, or certainly make it much harder for behavior modification to take place for that dog as it transitions through life. The other part of, you know, some dogs experience another imprint stage when they are in an adolescent time frame, age period, and that can vary depending on size of dogs. Little dogs go through it a little sooner, a little faster than larger dogs. And they can have, if they have a really significant negative experience during that time, it can make behavior modification a little harder, a little longer. But I would say, you know, never, it's important for when you are working with your dogs to, so we're going to help these guys out. Hi, babies. checked with the ladies, and they told me that neither Max nor Winnie have food allergies. So what I'm doing is I'm actually giving them a positive association, treats, with the person coming towards them. So that helps them go, oh, hey, that guy just made tripe up here. He's not so scary after all. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
So one of the other questions they had was
Sure.
about budgeting for your dog as well,
Absolutely.
but also
Yeah,
about
Discover Show.
senior dog adoption and
Senior
why
dog
that's so
adoptions.
important.
Oh, one of my favorite topics. So, ladies, I know you guys have some seniors here,
Absolutely.
and folks relinquish senior pets, or sometimes we find senior pets, or however a senior pet can come into the shelter. They can be a wonderful pet to consider for your home, and I'll let you guys take it from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, one great thing about an older animal in general is that you have a really good idea about the type of personality that animal has.
Yes.
Senior pets still have a whole lot of love to give, and I'm very partial to the older ones. I'm a total sucker, to be honest with you. But there are definitely some considerations as animals age. There is a possibility that they could have age-related illnesses or just other, maybe special diet needs, things like that. We try to counsel people for what we know about the animals before they're adopted, but that is always, a consideration. And any animal you have as it ages could potentially have age-related illnesses or, like I said, dietary needs, things like that.
Sure. Yeah. Did you want to add anything to that, Joan?
No, that's perfect. I mean, I love senior pets as well. I have a 12-year-old at home, and they're great. They make wonderful companions, and they can have lots of years to give. And there's really nothing more rewarding than having those last few years with an animal and giving them that great quality of life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're talking about rescues, National Mutt Day. So when looking at the categories, instead of looking at, I want a Dalmatian, take a look at, I'd like a senior dog, no matter the breed. Because then, like these ladies were saying, you'll have, if you're coming in to adopt, not only will you be bringing a lot of love into your home, but it's a good way to also know more about what that dog is like, because he or she's got some years behind him, so you'll know a little bit more about the behavior.
And an adult dog, you know what you're getting.
Yes, that's true. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on our Fetch Facebook Live. It's been a pleasure to meet you guys.
Thank you.
It's a real honor to be here. This is one of the premier humane societies, I would say, in the country, certainly within the Western region. I mean, they were established again in 1910 with the behavior department in the 70s. These guys have been really advancing the adoption process, the shelter experience, the Humane Society experience for animals. They are forward-thinking, and it's a real pleasure to be here today as we celebrate National Mutt Day with Fetch Pet Care. I am Ellen, your dog trainer, your resident dog trainer, Ellen the dog trainer. Please join us again next month. Look for my video tip, and if you have any questions, please post them now, and I'll be sure to answer them after the fact. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Warren.
Thank you for letting me say something.
And thank you, Max and Winnie, for being on our show today. We appreciate it.